Cominciamo. Allora, andiamo avanti, vi ho messo la solita presentazione, come al solito. Oggi abbiamo la lezione l'ultima del mese di febbraio, e quindi vi ho messo, come sempre, il ripasso dei nostri obiettivi della lezione. Provo anche a parlarvi un po' in italiano, così fate anche un po' di esercizio voi, facciamo un po' e un po'. E come al solito, mi raccomando, prendete appunti, scrivete le informazioni, se ci sono domande mi chiedete e alla fine ripassate il materiale che vi mando. Ok, what are we going to see today? La struttura della reception, quindi i ruoli principali della reception. Glossary of reception key technical terms, le parole principali della reception. Professional telephone answer, quindi come rispondere a una telefonata in modo professionale e come rispondere a una mail in modo professionale. Ok, let's start from the reception organizational structure. Il front office. Okay, so the front office, you know that it's the visible part of the reception. Front office is the front, back office on the back. The visible part, that is the part in direct contact with guests, and the main duties of the reception is check-in. Okay. As always, check-in and check-out is the most important part of the reception. The reception is also welcoming guests and speaking with guests or requests, complaint, requests for everything. Queue management, so it means when the guests are arriving, for example, on the morning and rooms are busy. So queue management means you have to say which guest is arriving first, how long is waiting for his room, and so managing the list and the priority to giving the room to the guest. Handling requests, as said before, giving general information, so where they can find a shop, where they can find a pharmacy, where's the bus stop, etc., etc. Room assignment. So usually when we have a booking center which is taking the reservations, the front office assign the rooms, is going to assign the rooms in the PMS, which is the system which is used to manage reservation, and also, if necessary, giving upselling. What is the upselling? The upselling is when you book, for example, a standard room, and I'm at the reception, I try to make you take the superior room. Okay, so when you arrive, if I have superior room available, I'm going to try to tell you, how about to take a superior room? It's just 20 euros difference per day. This is the upselling. Upselling. When the word is upgrade, it's different from upselling, because upselling means when I try to sell you an upper room type. Upgrading is different, because upgrading means when I'm giving you an upper room type, which is for free usually. An upgrade means when you have booked a standard room and I'm going to assign you a superior room without any price difference. Relationship with entertainment and restaurants. So the reception keeps, as I said the last time, all the contacts with F&B, housekeeping, entertainments, also outside partner, which is, for example, when a hotel doesn't have a restaurant, the front office usually is going to suggest you some restaurants, so has a list with the restaurants. Or, for example, for the taxi driver, usually when you work to the hotel, you keep a list with preferred restaurant, preferred taxi driver, and sometimes big hotels, when gives a lot of work with external partner, takes a commission to let them work with this partner. And peak time coordination. So these are just the main duties of the front office. But as I said last time, you know that in front office, you do a lot of things. Sometimes in small hotels, when you are at the front office, you don't just make a check-in and check-out, but you manage reservation, you take telephone, you answer to the email. Sometimes you also make coffee and cappuccino for the guests. And so there are a lot of things doing at the front office. Usually when hotels are bigger than 100 rooms, questo reparto is divided between front office and back office. But if the hotel is smaller, usually front office makes everything. In my opinion, that is a good thing because I've learned so many things when I was at the front office, from making a good coffee and a good cappuccino to giving offers for meetings, groups, managing prices in the online, so everything. Back office. The back office is hidden but essential part behind the hotel operations. The main duties of the back office is data entry. So what they usually do at the back office is putting information inside the system. Prospect list, what is a prospect? Do you know what is a prospect?
No, io no.
Anyone? No. So prospect is when I'm interested in buying a service, example, to booking a room at the hotel, but I haven't booked yet. I haven't been guest. So prospect is when a person is interested to your service or to your product. That is prospect. When this person book or make a stay, it becomes guest. So from prospect, it becomes guest. So the data entry job to the back office is, for example, putting in the system prospect profile. Few times a year, not just in Italy, but also Germany and other countries, we used to organize a tourism fair like TTG. Don't know if you have ever heard questa fiera, il TTG. Oppure ETB Berlin or other tourism fair. So when hotel staff participates to fair, they collect business card, prospect request, because it's a fair between hotels and also buyers, which is, for example, travel agency, big tourism company, tour operators. So all tour operators, for example, who haven't booked yet this hotel are prospect guests. So to collect all the contacts in order to make, for example, a mailing list, promotion, calls, and etc., they used to do this data entry type. Basic accounting. Basic accounting means, for example, we will see in next lessons, to check if all the accounts made on the day from the front office are correct, if the total of cash, credit card, bank transfer is correct, in order to send to accounting department. When I was at the reception, 2-3 times a week, depending on the season, I was used to collect all the cashier of the day. So it means it's a paper when it's written this receipt number, the amount, etc., and to check if the total amount was correct with the cash, especially. Daily reports, for example, the guests arriving, the departure list, the list of guests having half board for the kitchen and the F&B department, the list of the rooms to clean, a lot of reports. Payment management. Usually back office is also management some payment when, for example, when hotels ask for a deposit of the reservation. A lot of hotels are used to have a flexible rate and a not refundable or partially refundable rate. So if you book with this rate, we are asking you a prepayment. So the back office is going to manage all the prepayments with the credit card, sending the link to the guests in order to pay, check if they have paid, etc., etc. Communication with housekeeping. So after they produce the daily report with rooms to clean, they communicate with housekeeping in order to let them know if there are special requests or if a few rooms are already cleaned in order to let them go and assigning the rooms and checking in. Communication with maintenance, if there are any maintenance urgently to do in the rooms, or if anything needs to be bought for the maintenance. PMS management. So you know what is PMS. We are going then to see it on the glossary. PMS is property management system, means the system in the computer, which is used from resort, hotel, any type of buildings to manage all the operation from the data entry, from the booking entry until the guest registration, check-in, check-out, everything. Arrival preparation, so the reports list and the special needs list for the arrival, if they have to put baby coat in the room, flower in the room, etc., etc. Booking checks, because the back office does not only put reservation into the system, but there is a checking procedure. So for example, every morning they used to check the arrival list. So what does it mean? To take every reservation and check again if all the data are correct. Arrival date, number of people, departure date, the price, the room type, everything. You will see that in hotel reception, there is a continuous check of everything, because especially when there are a lot of rooms reservation, it's always a good thing to check sometimes if everything is in order. And also after daily check, there is also a weekly check. So it means that, for example, on Sunday, booking department checks all the reservation for next week in order to see if there is a canceled reservation which has not been canceled, if there is an overbooking room, everything about bookings. Professional emails. So the back office always responds to request email, bookings, emails, prepares the offers for the guests, so is answering the emails, and makes a revenue strategy and prices management, which means to see statistics of the hotel, requests depending on the day, depending if there is an event, a fair, or a special day like festive days, and decides the price strategy, if to put higher price, lower price, depending on a lot of factors. The department of MICE and events. So usually when we have an hotel with meetings room, we have a special department for the management of MICE and events. It means that this department is organizing everything for meetings and events from the offer until preparing, for example, the Congress room, organizing if there is a outside partner, for example, which brings technical instruments, overhead projector, microphone, lights, and everything. And conciergerie. This department is used to have in high-level hotel category and sometimes also resorts. Usually conciergerie is department which is next to the front office, is usually another desk or a part of the front office desk. The main duties of conciergerie is especially managing reservations for taxi, transfer, tickets, and restaurants, and giving information. So for big buildings, front office makes check-in, check-out, answering phone calls, and conciergerie is dedicating to giving information to the guests during the stay and booking services for the guests during the stay. È tutto chiaro fino qua? Is there any question until now?
No, a posto tutto.
No,
Ok, perfetto.
grazie.
Okay, so we are going to see the main reception key technical terms. I think that some of these you have ever heard and you already know what they is, but it's a good to see again. Check-in. Già sapete tutti cos'è un check-in? Cosa si fa quando si dice check-in?
Mhm. Sì.
Okay. So check-in is the process when guests arrives at the hotel and officially register their stay. What do we do during the check-in? We will then see in the next lesson the exactly step to make the check-in registration documents. But check-in procedure is when the guest arrives, they say, I have a reservation under the name of, okay. And then the front office operator checks again the reservation. Okay, so welcome to the hotel. Your reservation is for 4 nights. You are leaving on the day X. At the time X, you have booked a dinner, you have requests. Okay, we usually continuously check also with guests when it's coming. The guest provides identification because in different countries, the regulation for the check-in is different. In Italy, the regulation for the check-in means that every guest who is staying at the hotel, even if he's a child and infant, must provide identification card. For example, la patente, which is the driving license, ID cards, passport. These are the main official documents to register to the hotel. And so the front office operators must put in the program all the data because then they have to be sent to the police. That is necessary to track if there are any suspected people staying at the hotel or if anyone is registering with a false ID card, for example. So then after registering, the identification confirms the reservation. The guest usually gives a payment method that is depending on the hotel because payment method is also accorded during the booking. If you have to pay in advance, if you are going to pay at the check-in, but usually in these times, every hotel is asking for a credit card to pre-authorize. It means that you are going to give a credit card. The operator is going to check in the machine if the credit card works and if the amount for the stay is in the card. Then what do you usually say when you are in checking in of a guest? Saying the main information. Okay, so Wi-Fi password, breakfast time, dinner time, main service, if there is pool service, animation. Okay, so explaining the main information regarding the hotel or the resort. Or if there is a resort, you are also giving the map, the list of the service, and the bracelet. For usually that is necessary because it's like a payment type. I don't know if you have ever been and you know how it works, but it's like a magnetic bracelet which inside has an electronic chip. So if you are going to the bar, to the restaurant, or to the shop, you don't have to pay with necessary credit card, but you pay with your bracelet. So you are going to charge, for example, 50 euros in the bracelet, and then you're going to pay with the bracelet. It's like to pay now with the smartwatch, more or less. So check-in is first contact between the guests and the hotel staff. As I said the last time, you remember that guest has a 7 seconds first impression. So the check-in is very important. It's the first thing the guest is trying as a service in the hotel. Checkout is the contrary of check-in. So it's the process when a guest leaves the hotel and complete the stay. Usually it's the time when you're going to pay. During checkout, the guest returns the room key, pays remaining charges, and receives the final bill. And it's the last contact between the guest and the hotel. Checkout depends also on the hotel, may also happen with digital methods because hotels also use the web checkout. So for the big resorts, camping, etc., they have an electronic system. So they ask to pay the bill the evening before the departure. Why? Because usually on a resort, on Saturday, on Sunday, you are going to have 100, 200 departures. So this is in order to have a faster checkout for the guests. Don't have to wait longer. Don't need to have a long queue. So many people waiting to check out. And also because guests may have the opportunity to check with no rush their bills, because if you are staying 1-2 weeks on the resort, you'll have maybe a lot of extras. So you want to check if your bill is correct. So if they're going to ask you for the payment directly at the checkout, it may also last 15 minutes. Early check-in and late checkout is simple. Early check-in is when you arrive at the hotels and you ask to enter your room before the normal official time. And late checkout is when you ask to keep the room until the normal checkout times. So both of them usually are offered for free if there is enough availability. But if there is high season, the hotels might request an extra charge. Mainly on the late checkout. Usually early check-in, they don't request an extra charge, but if they have availability, they're going to give the guests the room. While late checkout, usually asking for an extra because it depends on how long you have the housekeeping staff. If you don't have the housekeeping staff until 3 p.m. and the guest is leaving at 3 p.m., you won't sell the room for that day. And the PMS, we have just said before. PMS means Property Management System. It's a software which is used in hotels to manage daily operations. I work for a PMS software company. So I'm going to give assistance to do training to operators about the PMS used. It helps staff handle reservation, check-in and check-out, room assignment, billing, and guest information. Today, it is quite impossible to work in hotel without a PMS. If we think that 30 years before, hotel was working with mainly paper, so registering guests with a book. Sometimes I've seen this kind of books in the hotel, like historic documents, and keeping reservation always in a book, okay, like restaurant reservation. But now everything is on computer. Is on computer because we have to make a lot of things, both on the front office and back office. And especially, this is important, one, to get easy every procedure. Because I don't know outside Italy, but in Italy, front office have a lot of bureaucracy, things to do. For example, the guest registration. For at least, if you are a family traveling for at least for one people, you have to register the complete document. So to fill documents number, birth date, where do you live, where did you birth, everything, okay? Because it's obligatory for the law. So you have to then send everything to the police, and there is a time limit to send these data to the police. And then you have to send the ISTAT. I don't know if you have ever heard this, but we will talk about that. So there are a lot of things to do, and also is important because hotel management can track statistics. So how many guests were staying in that period, which kind of guests, and how they are traveling and why they are traveling. So everything helps to grow the revenue of the hotel, and also to understand and get better service depending on the guest type. So the PMS is essential today. There are a lot of PMS. If you are looking on the internet, international or national PMS, it depends also on the hotel budget, because there is a PMS costing like 2,000 euros per year, but also 30,000 euros per year, depending on the necessity of the hotel, how many information they want to have, how much complicated is their type of operation. So there are, today's in Italy, I think there are like minimum 50 kind of PMS, minimum. Okay. So if you want then to have a look on the internet, I'm working for Zucchetti Hospitality, and I give assistance, especially now I'm projecting, so I'm heading the projects for the installation of a Scrigno and Infinity PMS, if you want to have a look. Channel Manager, which is also a kind of software I've worked for. Channel Manager is a software tool used by hotels to manage room availability, room price, and room restrictions across different online sales channels at the same times. Oh, so in few words, it is a software when, for example, you put for today 10 rooms available at the price of 200 euros, and it is going to put the data to booking.com, to Expedia, to hotels.com, to Airbnb, and every online page that you want to do a connection with. And it is convenient and necessary today because when I was working at the beginning of my hotel experience, which is 2008, sì. We was used to open all the OTA page. So we opened the booking.com, Expedia, etc. And we had to write availability and price for every kind of OTA. So that takes a lot of time, and you could make more errors. For example, you put 200 as 150, and you cannot control this information. While with Channel Manager, you do one operation, and the system is going to synchronize the information with every OTA. So you can also manage availability, avoid overbooking, and then, for example, to put the minimum stay in the resorts, minimum stay is 1 week. So if you share 1 week minimum stay for your hotel, it is going to share this information with all OTAs. OTA is an online travel agency, for example, booking.com. I think it's the most important online travel agent. Dimmi pure.
Okay, thank you so much. I was just asking about the channel manager. Can they also manage the rating and the comment of the customers, like the satisfactory rate of the customers?
No, I don't think there is a channel manager managing reviews. Some channel manager can manage photos, for example, or main information of the hotel. So you don't have to go in that website back office to put all the information. I think there is a function for booking.com, but I don't perfectly remember where you can manage your review. But usually every hotels needs to go in their OTA's back office, read the review, and then put a reply. You will see that not all the hotels put a reply for the review, but that is a good rule if you want to give a good impression of the hotel, even if the guest is going to write a bad review, is also a good thing to write few words like thank you for your review, it's important to get a better service, etc., etc.
Okay, thank you so much.
Grazie. Okay, so as I said, this system helps prevent overbooking and saves time because all information is synchronized in real time. In today's time, many hotels use to share all the information from the PMS because the PMS is connected to the channel manager. So there is a direct connection between the two systems. So the hotel is only putting the rates for the rooms, but for example, the availability is automatically synchronized to the channel manager, and the channel manager synchronizes availability with every OTA. So everything is quite automatically. Also, vado un attimo qua. Also in these days for the price with RMS. RMS is a revenue management system, which is another software that helps hotels set the best room price. What does an RMS do? It analyzes data such as demand, seasonality, competitor rates, booking trends, also for example, the pressure of airports requests. In our software group, we also have 2 RMS type. And one of these not only compares with competitor rates and how many booking does the hotel have, but also, for example, if the guests have an hotel near Venice, is also going to compare with the pressure and demand on Venice Marco Polo Airport. If there is a Festival del Cinema, there is a lot of demand, so it's also analyzing special events in order to suggest the best price. So collects all the data, historical data about reservation from the PMS, future reservation, analyze everything data together with artificial intelligence, and then suggest the best price. So at today's times, the hotels can manage everything quite automatically. Rates if they have an RMS, reservation with the PMS connected, and also restrictions if they want. So everything is synchronized today. For me, sometimes I stop and I think about this because that it's today we are used to have this. We cannot do without. But when I was starting to work at the hotel, we had to do everything manually and also to check if another competitor has a higher or a lower price. So after 15 years, 20 years, now it's quite necessary. We can't do without. You know, sometimes when there is some connection problem with the PMS, guests are obviously calling in 2 seconds to say, it's not working, I have to do a check-in, I have to do a check-out, how can I do? But if I stop and think, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, everything was working manually. We were printing so many papers. And now, if for 10 minutes we don't have the connection, oh, panic. We can do anything. Everything is blocked. Then Booking Engine. Booking Engine is the online reservation system on the hotel official website. When you go into a hotel's website, 90%, not 100%, but 90%, you find the Booking Engine. It allows guests to check availability, see prices and offers, and book a room directly without using an online travel agency. Usually, if you book directly to the hotel's official website with Booking Engine, there is a better rate. Not always, but hotels which are going to manage correctly their rate between OTAs and Booking Engine, they used to give a discount if you book directly. Why? Because to have a contract with an OTA, hotels pays a commission, which is minimum an 18% until 13%. The medium commission with Booking.com is 20%. Then if you want to have a higher position on the results, you also pay more commission. So when you are going to book your vacation to Booking.com and you pay 200 euros, you know that the hotel doesn't earn 200 euros for your stay. It has to pay, for example, 20 euros commission. That's why they usually going to give you better rate if you book directly. Even if I used to book on Booking.com because it's much simple to look for hotel or apartments. I prefer to go on Booking.com. Ditemi pure una alla volta.
Okay. I was saying the booking engine, like, does someone have to build it for you, or you can just put a link on the website where people can just access it?
Usually, when hotels make a contract with a booking engine, they only need to charge availability, price, and restrictions, but also for the first time, photos and descriptions and everything. And then usually the webmaster, which is the person which is in charge of managing the website, is going to publish like this in the photo that you see, is going to publish this page so the guests could book themselves the room.
Okay, thank you so much.
Timmy, anche tu volevi fare una domanda.
Sì,
Se vuoi provarci in italiano, fallo pure, eh.
Forse, ok. Non è domanda, ma come funziona Booking Engines? Come rispondiamo per reviews?
Allora, booking engine usually don't have the possibility to give a review because
Mhm.
booking engine is the hotel's directly website system. But usually, if you book directly, where do you give your opinion, your review? In my opinion, the most used 10 years ago was TripAdvisor. And
Yes,
now it's not anymore TripAdvisor. Now the most used, I think, is Google review.
yes.
But usually hotels... Dimmi scusa?
Sì, anche Google reviews because
Sì.
I wanted to double check because I used to work in a hostel and it was
Mhm.
mandatory for us to reply to reviews no matter how bad or no matter how good it was.
Certo, sì. Sì,
Yes.
sì.
And also for if they booked directly with us, they got breakfast included,
Mhm.
which was a good advantage for even for us and for them as well. And but booking on booking.com, when someone booked on booking.com, and sometimes guests want to add someone, like a new traveler
Mhm.
with them. So when they speak with us on booking.com, we just said okay, I will just send you a WhatsApp message. And I remember my
Okay.
supervisor told me booking.com shouldn't uh, read this conversation with us because we are they that the extra person didn't book through booking.com. So booking.com
Mhm.
won't get the
Yes.
commission.
Yes, but it's a particular question because when you contract with booking.com,
Mm-hmm,
usually you can't send a message through the booking.com back office
mm-hmm,
when you write contact directly or to put it directly hotel contact or something like that. It's not permitted from booking.com. There are a lot of regulations, even if now you can avoid that regulations. But
mm-hmm.
usually there are also hotels which used to say to guests by telephone, okay, if you cancel your reservation through booking.com and book directly, we'll give you 10% discounts.
Yes, yes, I know that too. I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but if they see that many or often guests are canceling the reservation under the cancellation date, they suspect something. So they can maybe block the booking.com account. You have to be very, very careful. So, but the hotels know how it works.
Yeah. And one more thing before we move on to another topic. You mentioned ISTAT. There was also another list that we that is sent to the police. As I remember, if I remember correctly, ISTAT, we used to send it the day after, the morning after. In the
Yes,
morning,
yes.
we send it. But there was another list right when they arrive, we send it directly, like on a,
Is called the PS in Italy. Maybe.
okay.
You heard?
It's, yeah, it started with a A. It was a abbreviation like Istat, but it's
Alloggiati web,
similar.
maybe. Alloggiati.
See, see, exactly. Yes, that one.
Is the police list with arrival datas. But on the next lesson, we are going specific on these procedures. So I'll show you which is the data requested, how to fill
Mhm.
this information and everything. Yes, Alloggiati
Okay,
web.
right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Stefania, I'm so
If
sorry. I have a problem. I don't know what the problem is with the raising hand and so on, but I wanted to add
ok,
point if possible.
cosa?
I wanted to add a point if possible. At this
Sì.
moment, I'm working in a hostel as well, but it's completely forbidden to answer any kind of reviews
Mm,
when they add something. As well about using the OTAs. In our reservation system, we have three different columns. The first one is the lowest price, which is also given to the OTAs. Then we have the medium. Then we have the, average. Then we have the highest possible. Normally, when someone walks in and wants to reserve to do the booking directly with us, we offer them the average. Um,
mhm,
but when they say that, okay, but in booking or I don't know, Itagamel and this and that, it's lower or something like that. We never should decide to just say, okay, we will do it
mhm.
less, but we try to make them to do the reservation through booking and etc. They think that it's better to give that amount of commission, but it makes us become more famous because when they do the reservation via booking or, for example, hostel beds and etc., in this situation, we can get the reviews from them by giving good, let's say, offers to the guests, and it can affect us more than the time that we don't get the give the commission and etc.
Sì, 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 sì. But
Um,
there are also hotels deciding, the guests saying by telephone, I've seen a better price on booking.com. Okay, book on booking.com, because usually also these kind of OTAs are using tracking system for the price. So not only getting a lower price with the commission, so they are regulating its commissions. Even if you pay 20% commission,
mhm.
they can publish a lower price, giving you pay just 15% commission, so they can reduce the online price, and so the guest has a convenient rate, for example. So there are a lot of tricks they are using to giving a lower price, if even if the hotel is trying to give a convenient price. But also when I was working in the hotels, I tried to get a direct reservation, but when the guest was saying no, but I've seen 15 euros less in booking. Okay, don't worry, booking.com. It's not necessary to book directly. You don't have to force the guests if they want to book in booking.com, because also in booking.com you are getting i punti, no? So you are booking.com level 1, level 2, level 3, and you are having discounts. So that's why also guests are booking with these kind of systems.
But the most strange part is the part that this hostel is a very famous hostel inside Italy or all over the Italy, and I
Mm?
don't know why they want to get more famous or something by having reviews on Booking and etc.
Ok, grazie. Ok, overbooking. That is, questa è un'immagine molto significativa. Overbooking, when I was working in the hotels, it is a nightmare for receptionists because overbooking is when hotel accepts more reservation than the number of available rooms. Sometimes it is a strategy because the hotel statistics says that you never have under 100% confirmation and arrivals, but there is always 1, 2, it depends on the number of rooms, cancellation. But if that day you are having 105 booking instead of 100 rooms, you have to relocate the guests. And it's much difficult if the hotels doesn't have a lot of hotels in the surrounding, because also for Italian law, I'm speaking for Italian law, you have to relocate the guests for the same or higher hotel category. So you can't relocate the guests in lower hotel category. And if that the guest is paying 100 euros, in that hotel the relocation is 150, the hotels is losing 50 euros because they have to give 50 euros to that hotel. It's a common practice in hospitality, but must be managed carefully to avoid guest dissatisfaction. In my opinion, it never happened to me, but in my opinion, relocated guests is not always happy because they decided to book that hotel for a reason and won't give a good review. Allotment. I think we will keep email and telephone call for next time because I'm going to check the time. Allotment is a group of hotel rooms reserved in advance for a travel agency, tour operator, or corporate client. The agency can sell these rooms to their customers, often at a negotiated rate. It helps hotel guarantee bookings and secure revenue ahead of time. Okay, what is an allotment? Allotment is a contract between hotel and tour operator, which means I'm going to keep you 10 rooms for all the season or for different type of season at a negotiated rate. So if you book these 10 rooms, you are going to pay 50 euro per person, but the guest is not paying to the tour operator 50 euros, he's paying 75 per person. So the difference, they earn the difference. And usually allotment has a release time, which is a period in which the travel agency can send bookings. So for example, the release time of 10 days, the agency can send bookings until 10 days from that arrival date. If they don't sell all the allotment rooms, the hotel has the possibility, is free to sell the remaining rooms. So the allotment contract is until that limit, and after that, if these rooms are not booked by the agency, hotels could resell again online or directly. Vuoto per pieno is another hotel strategy where rooms are intentionally kept empty for center periods. Is a similar but different contracts from the allotment. When a big tour operator is contracting to keep 80% of the hotel's room, and they are paying all their rooms even if they are not booked, but for a very discounted rate. What is the advantage of the hotels? The hotels have all the rooms paid even if a discounted rate. So they are sure that 80% of the rooms is paid even if not at the full rate. Is a revenue management technique to increase profit and optimize occupancy. Is always used on big resorts, not on the hotel, on camping, on resort, but not hotels. Rooming list. Rooming list is a document that shows which guests are assigned to which rooms for a group booking. It's a list with name, last name, room number, how many people. In fact, it usually includes name, room types, special requests, arrival, departure date. Hotel use it to organize check-ins efficiently for a group such as tour operators, conferences, or weddings. When you check in with a group, we usually giving to the tour leader the rooming list, to check all the participant list, but also to check in rooming list and the package with all room keys. So this is to you, and you are going to distributing the keys to the group, and it's done. Okay, so I'm going to keep the telephone answer and the email answer for the next time, because I think that is very important to go with the time for this, because in my opinion, good telephone answer is very, very important. And I often see in hotels not good telephonic answer. So for this time, we are stopping here because it's 3 p.m. If you have any questions, we take some minutes for questions. Anche in
Grazie
italiano.
Stefania, non c'è domande, grazie per tutto, tutto
Grazie.
chiaro.